Peace, peace, peace. Gods, goddesses, emperors, and empresses, those who are royal. I view those who are royal as those who see themselves as their own kingdom. What's up, y'all? We're out here in beautiful San Diego, per usual. And I want to talk about this concept of solo leveling. Leveling up in life. Is life just a video game? And if it is, how do we play it? Are there NPCs? Are there real player characters? Let's talk about it. Okay? I had this conversation with, my beautiful wife, Janae, and we were speaking on this as we're watching this show, Solo Leveling, together. It's an awesome show, by the way. I love animes, okay? And I like to watch them, and like any show or any movie, try to derive a deeper meaning or deeper purpose to them and see why is this being presented to me in my life, and what is it that I can take from this to grow and develop with. And I also just had a series of beautiful experiences, and I want to share some things with you. First off, I want to ask some questions. Do you ever feel like there's more? There should be more to your life. There's more to experience. There's more to do. You get up every day and you take your sea moss, or you drink your coffee, and you do your meditation, or you play your video game, and sometimes you just wonder, what's next for me? What's more? There has to be something more. What's the next level? Where's the next level up? Well, I'm here to tell you that something more that you're looking for, it's not anything out there. It's not more of the world that you want to experience. It's not more games that you want to play. It's not more food that you want to try. What you're looking for are more dimensions of yourself. What you're looking for is not only more dimensions of yourself, but the realist versions of yourself. What do I truly want to do with my time and energy? And why can't I do it? Why won't I allow myself to do it? What are the steps to get there? And how can you get there if you don't even know where you want to go? These are important questions to ask. To begin to think and to begin to ask yourself why, and to ask your questions in the first place, is what's going to lead you on that quest, is what's going to lead you on that journey to growing and self-development. It's not until you go to the ocean and its vastness and you say, there has to be more to this. My family is beautiful. I love my family. My job is amazing. I love my job. My house is big and beautiful, or my house is tall, small and tiny, but there has to be more. How do you find that? How do you tap into that? What you're looking for is more of yourself. You need to get to know yourself more and learn yourself more. The funny thing is that as you get to know yourself, and as you start to learn who you truly are, you start to not just become anything different, but you start to see things differently. When you start to tap into more dimensions of yourself, not just the same dimension of looking at things physically, practically, emotionally, or mentally, not any one of them, but all of them. Not just spiritually, but when you can walk up to somebody and have a conversation, and a conversation isn't just about money. The conversation isn't just about what you have or what you're wearing that day, but it gets deeper. You start to realize that you're not having random conversations. Everything is divine. It's going to be hard to see everything as divine. It's going to be hard to see everything as perfect when you can't see things in all dimensions. If you can't see the spiritual reasoning to why somebody's talking to you, or why you're seeing something, or why you feel called to just go outside. Like I feel called to just go outside sometimes, and I never really know why, but I know it's beyond my understanding sometimes. There can be something that happens that adjusts my life financially. There could be something that happens that could adjust your life romantically, could adjust your life socially, could adjust your life spiritually. And for you to look at, well, I'm just going outside as just that's it. I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna go get some sunlight. Well, that's just one dimension of it. Maybe you felt this calling and this feeling to go outside to get some sunlight, to walk around and get some exercise. But how do you know you weren't meant to just run into somebody and have a certain conversation and say maybe just a couple words as you walk by somebody that will change their life forever? How do you know that somebody's not going to walk by you and say a couple words that's going to change your life forever? See, like the beautiful sun, one of my favorite examples, the sun just does what it does. It gets up every day at the same times and it shines. And it doesn't determine what it's going to do based off on how I look at it or how I feel about it. It gets up and it does what it does and it shines. And there's so many things that benefit from this sunlight that may not be the reason why it initially is doing what it's doing, but it's happening. Maybe when you get up every day, what you're doing can be completely about you. Say I got up and I played League of Legends today, but somebody was being toxic in the chat and I decided to type a couple words. How do I know that those couple words didn't change that person's life forever? How do I know that what I said is going to help that person reflect and maybe change how they treat people in their real life? Maybe it's not just the game. Maybe I didn't log in just to play, just to have some fun. Maybe I logged in to be put in the same room as that person, to say those exact words. And a lot of us, we have these different perceptions of God, of source, of the system, as Solar Leveling will call it. And I want you to get in the mind of the player rather than the mind of an NPC. An NPC is somebody or a person or an entity that has no real player connected to them. They're pretty much just like a robot or like a bot. Whereas a player is somebody that's logged in. It's somebody's consciousness behind that character that's doing things, expressing that person's will, expressing that person's personality consciously. Rather than it just being a robot on repeat running a program, you have a person with free will making decisions. The player versus the NPC. One thing that I've noticed about this player ideology is that in order to be a player, you have to be logged in. And what does it mean to be logged in this world? It means to be conscious. We know one of the Hermetic principles is cause and effect. So they're always taking place. There's all of this is an effect of something, yet all of this is causing something. Perspective allows us to shift between standing in, well, this is just an effect of how my life has been, or I'm doing this as a cause to create a change and a ripple in the universe moving forward consciously. I can be the cause, or I can look at it as an effect. They're both true. But how do you want to see it? Do you want to look at your life as you just being in effect? Well, I have to do this because of the program, and therefore you're in effect. Or can I rewrite the program? Am I the programmer? Am I able to program? Which will allow you to be the cause. They're both true. There's factors that have happened that have led you to who you are and where you are today. And there are factors that will infinitely ripple from every little thing that you do moving forward. So some people may get up in a day and not think about how what they do is going to affect their world around them. And there are some people who get up every day knowing that everything they do is going to affect everything around them. Therefore, they don't just do anything. They do specific things. Being conscious is not a simple task. Being aware is not a simple task because it asks you to know. And can you do what's right if what you know is wrong? What is wrong from right? Some would say it's relative. I would say that the truth is infinite. The truth is before us. The truth will be after us. The truth is ever pervading. The truth is in all things, but it doesn't mean you can see it. I can say that the truth of this bush, the truth of this is to keep me from walking over here. And that can be somewhat true, but it can also be a delusion, because maybe that's not why it was consciously or intentionally planted. So a lot of people will mix and muddle the truth with perception. Well, the truth is that it's there. The truth is that it's green. The truth is that it's alive. The truth is that it's organizing itself in very beautiful patterns. The truth is, because of those patterns, because of its biology and its design, it creates life, and it grows, and it flourishes. That's what's actually happening. But how I perceive it, oh, this plant is growing thorns so it can hurt me. One may think that that's true, but that's just a perception. Whereas the reality is that it has thorns. Maybe to protect itself. Maybe it's not a malefic intention. Maybe nature wanted somebody to plant this here for a level of balance that can be beyond our comprehension. When you look at things in dimensions, you can look at them in the surface level or a lower dimension. And you can say, well, this is basic and it's only happening because of this. I'm getting up and I'm gonna have to go to work and make money to survive, to pay my rent. That's one dimension of your life. That's one dimension of your days, one dimension of your time, and one dimension of your space. Another dimension of it could be, I'm waking up today with another chance to grow and evolve and work on my communication skills. Another dimension of it is, here's another day to meditate and go inward and seek something bigger than all of this, something that's intangible, and connect closer to that. Here's another day to do that. It's all the same day, and it's all the same you. And the fact is, you woke up. But what are you going to do with it is based off of how you look at it. So if you're a player and you're doing things consciously, it behooves you to know the truth, to know what things actually are, so you don't let your perceptions distract even you or get in your way. So you can make the full use of everything. You want to see everything in all dimensions. In a small dimension, I'm here in San Diego. I'm just here. People built this. It's just water. It's just trees. In a small dimension. In a way higher dimension, it's all an illusion. It's all a part of me somehow. In a bigger scale, I'm a part of all of it somehow. In a smaller scale, I'm separate from it. Both are true. And to be able to see the truth in all of it, in all dimensions, allows me to work with my reality in more ways. A lot of people want to make money. Who's to say how it's going to come to you? How do you know that you won't make money through communication? Why is the only way that you think you can make money through working a job? Maybe working a job is how you'll make that money. Or maybe working the job is how you'll meet that person that's going to give you that idea, that's going to turn you into that millionaire. Maybe working that job is so that you can meet the love of your life, who's going to then inspire you to motivate yourself to become healthier, stronger, and give you happiness and joy, to where you have this vibe about you that can attract it to you from another source. Maybe the job isn't the source of money. Maybe in one dimension it is, but maybe in another, it's more than that. And let's inverse it. How do we know that the job is taking more time from you than you doing what you love? And how do you know that 1 hour, 10 minutes of doing what you love is going to produce something that is going to give you this infinite abundance, this access, this key to wealth and abundance? Whereas if you look at it in a lower dimension, job is the only way I can make money to pay my bills. I have to do it. a root chakra thing, a security thing. I have to work the job. I have to do this. Well, I'm not saying jobs are bad, but what I'm saying is if you could look at your environment in more dimensions than what it looks like in what how you're currently looking at it, or how one may currently see things, there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more to all of this. It could be a phone call you get tonight that you couldn't have possibly planned, that comes together somehow to give you that opportunity. Maybe it's you thinking of how you can add value to the world by finding out the truth about yourself and finding your own purpose and taking every step that you can to get closer to the real you, to look at yourself in more dimensions. Maybe that'll make it easier to look at everything else in more dimensions. Maybe if I can see myself not as just this physical being that has to survive here on the earth, I could look at myself as a conduit for messages to come through. I could look at myself as a spirit or a soul that is not limited to the earthly realm, and my dreams mean something. My thoughts mean something. My thoughts are important. Everything about me, the way I look. What is how I look? What does that mean? What I chose to wear. What does that mean to me and my authenticity? And how is that going to affect the world around me? And am I doing these things because of a program? Or am I doing these things because I know who I am? Once you start to realize who you are, and once you start to get closer to yourself, it's going to be easier to get closer to your world. It's going to be easier to express yourself truly, to connect with your world in more dimensions. So I want to leave you with this, is that when you're solo leveling, when you're leveling up in this world, you're not looking to get new items. You're not looking to make new friends. You're only looking to grow. Growing closer to yourself. Growing more into yourself. This plant isn't trying to grow into the ultimate plant. The plants are not looking to take over the city. They're not looking to pay a bill. All they're doing is growing. And they're growing into who they are and what it's meant to be. That is the beautiful thing about nature, is that when you look into nature, you'll see that everything is happening as it needs to happen. It's not for you to figure out why someone else is doing what they're doing. It's for you to figure out why you're doing what you're doing. And when you can start to figure that out, you can start to see purpose in your mundane everyday events. Maybe you're in college and you're taking a class and you're like, oh, this has nothing to do with everything. Maybe you're taking that class for a reason. Maybe there's something that you're meant to take from that class and apply today. Maybe it's not for the degree. Maybe it's not for the job or the money. Maybe it's a message that you needed to receive. And if you can look at school in a higher dimension than how you were looking at it before, maybe you might be able to get a spiritual message from a class lesson. Maybe you can get a spiritual message from your interaction with the guy at the restaurant you're going to. Maybe when somebody says something negative about you, that's an opportunity to see it in another dimension, like, oh, here's an opportunity to show kindness and to display kindness. To grow into more of you is to master yourself. It's not about getting taller or getting stronger or buffer. Hardly about getting healthier. Those are all byproducts of you doing what's right. Biologically, are you putting the right things inside of you? Informationally, are you observing and paying attention to things that are uplifting you and allowing your mind to get sharper and to expand in information? Emotionally, are you slaving away and dedicating yourself to toxic relationships? Spiritually, are you able to meditate, go within, and get outside of the entire physical realm and still be somewhere and acknowledge it? You dream every night. You're not physical at all, but you're somewhere and you're doing something. To acknowledge that as a part of who you are is the beginning of being able to refine it. How do you know that your dreams, in your astral space is something that just needs to be refined. Maybe you forget your dreams and you don't pay attention to your dreams because you don't pay attention to the basic messages in life. You don't see the meaning in this life. So how could you see the meaning in that one? And are they separate? No, they're all parts of you. And I want everyone to know that this solo leveling thing, when you become a player, you do things with cause. And the best way to do things with cause is to know the truth. How does the universe actually work? Not how do you think it works. Who are you objectively? And what is subjectivity in itself anyway? To understand these facts of life is going to allow you to make conscious decisions. If you don't care, you don't want to know how life works, how energy works, how energy cycles. What is that big glowing ball over there we see every day? If you don't care to know those things, well, growth is going to be a bit more of a resisting journey, which leads to pain and suffering. And you're going to grow. You're going to learn. The truth is going to be there. Whether you want to accept it or not, the truth ain't going nowhere. The truth is in all things. It can come to you through pain and suffering, or it can come to you through grace and flow. If you choose grace and flow, I highly recommend you learn the truth of the universe. If you want to learn the truth of the universe, start figuring out the truth about yourself. Who are you multidimensionally? Who are you biologically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually? What is a soul? These are all things that I talk with people about. We use astrology as a tool to figure these things out because astrology is a direct representation of the energy changes and the flow that nature uses to alchemize things in life. Astrology is just a blueprint for that cycle. Everything's built upon that. Language, tarot, these buildings, nature, genetic code, it's all the same. If you want it to work, it has to follow some type of code that's successful. With all that being said, I feel like this is it. This is what I wanted you to know. And hopefully this spurs you to think. If you want to, you can go listen to my music. I speak about this in my music. You can go watch my other videos. A lot of my older videos, I go into this stuff in great detail. Or you can contact me directly. My name is Soular Amore, Soular. I have books being released. I have plenty of music out and more to come. And I just want you guys to know that I'm completely reachable and I'm here for you to provide value. Value to me is something that is useful. And I feel like there's nothing more useful than somebody telling you that there is more. But where it is isn't outside of you. It's more of you. What you're seeking out of life, more of life, is more of you. It's not in the substances, it's not in the food, it's not in just solely the experiences. The experiences will enhance as your perception does. I love you guys. Hey, hold it down, but keep it up. Remember, emperors, empresses, queens, and kings, what makes you royal is that you see yourself as your kingdom and you treat it as such. I love you. I love myself. And I'm just grateful, and I'm glad to have this opportunity in this infinite time and space to be doing this. Peace and love.